Hi soulmates, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome. Today we will be drafting the nataliebray pattern basic block, and we'll be using this table of average measurements and proportions. These measurements are in centimeters. So let's get right into it. First things first, we're going to be creating our border lines, 1 cm on top and 1 cm by the side, after which we'll be determining our point O from the chart using the bust size that we're working with. But first, create a full block span using your hip measurements divided by 2 plus 3 cm or 5 cm is, depending on how big the person is. So after having done this, we're now going to create our back block first. So now from borderline, you come down by what the chart says your point O is. And for the measurements that I'm working with, the point O is 3 cm. So from the borderline that I created earlier, I'm coming down by 3 cm. And on that 3 cm note, you're going to be measuring your back neck width, which is 7 cm. So just take the 3 cm or whatever your point O is, take it across from top line and then go back to the chart to check what your back neck width is, because this is the measurement for the neck on the back pattern. So like I said, the back pattern neckline, I'm using 7 cm according to the chart, and on that 3 cm that I marked earlier, I'm marking the 7 cm right on it, and then I'm going to roll it out. So from that 7 cm point, you go up by 2 cm standard. This is going to note how your neck point is going to get a slope from. So 2 cm upwards constant, and then label it as neck point. So now from the point O, you come down by 3 cm, which is standard, and this is where your back measurement is going to be taken, the X back, and you will see it on the chart as well. So divide your X back measurements by 2 and then roll it out. From point O as well, you come down to your bust line level, which is going to be on the chart as well, then rule it across. Now from the X back, you're going to measure the same measurements that you have there on your bust line, and then you're going to roll it down. This is going to form your armhole box. While on the X back, you extend the line by 2 cm, and that's where your shoulder slope is going to be. So you connect it to your neck point and you have it labeled as SP. So now I just label this part as bust line. So now you're going to get the midpoint from point O to your bust line, and you're going to rule that out because that's going to be your AD line, the armhole depth curve line. So upon ruling this out, we're now going to come out diagonally where the shoulder line and the armhole depth line touches the bust line. Come out diagonally by 3 cm, and then you go back to the chart again to check your BUP, bust on that point, and you're going to measure it out. Then connect this BUP point to your armhole depth to your 2 cm shoulder slope. Now from point O, you're going to come down by your waist measurement for the back. And for me, it's 40 cm thereabouts. And then I roll this across the paper block. From the waist measurements, you come down your waist to hip measurement, and then you take it across the paper and then you divide it into 2. And now you're going to get the midpoint of that and connect it straight to your BUP point. So at that waist area, you're going to come in by 2 cm from the center back and connect it in a slanted form all the way up to point O and then to your hip line. Now that point is shaded out because it's no longer part of our measurement. Now let's go to the front block. The point O this time around is the top of the border line. And for this, you're going to measure from point O again, the same back neck width that you measured earlier, which is 7 cm. And then you come down by 8 cm or 8.5 cm as your neck depth, depending on how big the person is. Now from point O again, you're going to come down by 4 cm or 4.5 cm, which is constant depending on the size you're working with. And this is going to form the shoulder line. So across that line, you're going to measure 16.5 cm constant, regardless of the body type, shape, or size. And now from the 7 cm measured earlier, as I am indicating here, you're going to measure touching the shoulder line. You're going to measure both your dart and your shoulder measurement. So you find the dart measurement on the chart, but your shoulder measurement should be taken on your client. So here, both are connected to the shoulder line. So now you go to the bust line that we wrote earlier, you go up 4 cm above, and then you rule this out horizontally. Now, the measurement there is going to be your chest width divided by 2. You'll find this on the chart as well. So now on the bust line, you either go in by your bust span or your chest width divided by 4. Now connect with broken lines all the way to the borderline on top. At that point on bust line, come down by 2 cm constant, and that's going to be your point G. From the broken line on the shoulder slope, you're going to come in by 2 cm and connect to point G. That will be your first dart leg. Now from your first dart leg, you're going to take out the dart that you measured in initially, and that's going to be your second dart leg. Now on the chest line, you're going to measure out the part that falls within the dart taken and replace it back, because you don't want to be short of any measurements around that. So now from that point, you're going to name it CHP, that's your chest point. You're going to connect it straight down to the bust line and then in a slanted form to the shoulder point. At the angle, just like we did for the back, we're going to measure out 1.5 cm this time around. And then to measure the full bust measurement at the front block, you're going to do half of your bust measurements minus what you have on the bust line on the back block. I hope this is not confusing. Now you get that point plus 5 cm. You add 5 cm to that measurement, and then you connect it to the hip measurements that we divided into 2 initially. So where the shoulder slope and the chest point touches, you're going to find the midpoint there and then go in by 1 cm. Now connect the shoulder slope, the 1 cm, your chest point, the 1.5 cm that we took in, and then the new bust point for the front. Connect them using the armhole curve. Now the top part is almost ready. So to get the that line on the waist, we're going to be measuring our true waistline, which is about 2 cm below the waistline that we have measured earlier. You can take this measurement on your client, or you can just make it approximately 2 cm, which is the highest you can do. So now get the distance between the initial waistline and your true waistline, then divide it by 2 and mark it on the side front and the side back. Then you connect it back to the 2 cm that we took in from the back initially. So this is now the waist that we will be working with, because our waist isn't truly straight like we used to think of it. The front is a bit bulged at the back. So now on this waistline that we just measured, we're going to take the measurements there, skipping the gap between the side front and the side back. So whatever we have there now, we're going to subtract it from our waist measurements, half of our waist measurements, and whatever is left is what we're going to be sharing as our dart. So now 50% of whatever is left will go to the side, because we want to cinch the side a bit. we use the 50% on the sides, and then you share it accordingly to both the side front and the side back. Having done this, you take your curved ruler to curve it out to the hip line. So now on the bust span that we measured earlier on the front block, you come down by 4 cm, because this is where your front dart is going to start from. Remember, we still have 50% left to share as darts on both front and back block. The same bust span that was used at the front block will be used at the back, or better still, you divide your back measurement by 4 and then take it as your dart line. So now at the back we use 13 cm up, and then you add 3 cm to it at 16 cm down. All these measurements are taken from the true waistline. At the front, you come down by 4 cm from the point G, and then add 2 cm to it to take the down part of the measurement. So now I'm going to remeasure everything that we have here again, just to be sure. Then subtract it from half of our waist measurement, and then divide it by 4. So whatever we have there, like I said earlier, we'll do 50% on both side front and side back. So on the back block, as you can see, I've connected to the armhole BUP and then to the hip. So now for the front block, you don't just connect straight like I did for the back. You come down by 4 cm from FUP, which is the front underarm point, and then you connect it to the waistline. So now this gives us the shape that we want at the side, 50% of whatever was left from the measurement. And now we're going to share the remaining 50% between the back and the front dart. Take note, we are fuller at the front, so now we're going to be using more of that measurement that we have left at the front than we will be using at the back. Remember, we've already cinched the back by 2 cm just to create that zip bulge that we don't want, to eliminate it rather. So now I'm going to take that measurement left, you divide it into 2 again, and then use one part for the front and then the other part for the back. Let's say I have 5 cm left. I'm going to be dividing 3 cm on the front block and 2 cm on the back block for the darts. So now our darts are complete. If you take the measurements again from the new center back, skipping the darts, you will see that what you have is exactly half of your waist measurement, because this is half scale of your full block. So going back to the darts now, you need to create a proper dart line there, such that you will not be short of any fabric around the shoulder area. So you are going to through your darts properly. Close the dart at the center area, and then with the help of a tracing wheel, you are going to trace out that part. But before then, connect your NP to your SP at the front correctly. Then use the tracing wheel to trace it out. So this point, you are going to connect your dart legs back to this point, because that will be your true shoulder point and your true neck point line, because we have closed the darts around that area, just like I am doing here. Having done this, on the neck point, you have to curve it out. So at that angle, I came out by 3 cm, and then I just drew the neck curve there. So on the back shoulder, the shoulder isn't as long as this. So we're going to measure from the neck point to the first dart leg and go back to the back pattern to measure it out. Then from the shoulder point of the front block to the second dart leg, we're going to repeat that same measurement. This is going to give us the shoulder darts on the back block. So now I'm just retaking the measurements just to be sure that I've taken the right darts away from the shoulder. So now you're going to take the length of that shoulder to be approximately 8 cm or 8.5 cm. You just draw it along like so and take it down. In a case where you do not want to have a shoulder dart at the back, just measure what you have drawn out there and take it out from SP on the back line, then reconnect the curve back to the armhole. So now you do not have any shoulder dart again at the back. Curve out your neck point curve for the back block and the pattern is fully ready to be used. So this is what we have as the nataliebray pattern. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.